Hey, how you doing, everybody? This is George, and I want to talk to you about a subject that all business owners that are wanting to go online need to understand. So I get the question all the time, hey, George, how do I start with my online marketing? And I thought before I answer that question, I want to answer another question that's a little bit more important because I've seen people make these mistakes, and it's what are the three things you want to make sure you don't do, or what are the three mistakes you want to avoid so that you get success? Well, first of all, you want to get out of your head the idea that you're going to do something stupid. A lot of people will talk to others that they know and people that, they kind of care for, and they tell them, hey, here's an idea that I have. And the first response they get is, boy, that's stupid, or that's dumb, or why would you even think of that? And so here you are trying to get advice from people that probably aren't the best people to be getting advice for if what you want is to do online marketing, and they kind of shut down your ideas right from the beginning. That's a big problem, because if you're an expert in your field and you're doing okay selling in person, ideas that you have for going online should make sense. They should be things you should try. I'd be really surprised if anybody running their business is going to do something blatantly stupid, blatantly dumb. That's a complete failure from the start. I do see a lot of people hesitate to try something that's kind of a little bit outside of their comfort zone, and as a result, they stay put and do nothing. I'm much more concerned about people doing nothing or holding off or get, completely stuck deer in the headlights kind of thing than I am about people moving ahead with something that's crazy. And I mean, it might not work, but it might be something you should definitely try. So the first thing is, there are no stupid ideas. Ignore people that are just telling you that something's never going to work, and give it a shot. Be bold. Be creative, try something new. Now, the second thing that you ought to consider avoiding is giving up too soon. A lot of people, maybe in the past, they've got this specter that's behind their head and it's creeping them out because, they got, screwed by some consultant that said, hey, this search engine optimization plan is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then it wasn't. It could be that you've worked with consultants that are kind of mysterious. They make what they do sound like it's crazy complicated, and people that just really aren't transparent about what it is that they're doing, and that just leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth. So you might go into this a little bit half-cocked and not ready to really commit. Well, if you're doing anything in a small business, chances are success is not at your fingertips. Success requires persistence, hard work, tenacity, and I've already said persistence, but it's persistence. And when you're testing out initial ideas for online marketing, you can't give up. You've got to try. In some cases, because you're missing out on opportunities. In other cases, because if you don't take advantage of these, your competitors will, and you'll basically go out of business because someone else does it so much better, less expensive, whatever, because they took advantage of some opportunity that you completely ignored. So, you can't give up too soon. And you should see, along these lines, you should see any failures as stepping stones to the next level, right? And I share an example where I came up and I was going after a specific market with a campaign I thought was going to work a certain way, and it didn't. So technically it was a failure. But at the same time, I developed a list of 6,500 email addresses, and these email addresses were all in one very specific niche. So it was a failure, but I've developed this list that I can now email, that I can now communicate with. So I started thinking, gosh, what do I do with this list? Well, what I started doing was started talking to other people who would target that list. And now I became a joint venture partner, a JV, for people selling into that market. Now, my solution, the one that I thought was going to work, didn't work, but I was able to make commissions by selling someone else's product into that same space. So again, here's a failure. I wasn't ready to like totally give up. I was going to continue to try doing things. And as a result, I went from failure to not so failure, right? And by the way, my initial failure kind of broke even. I made a little bit of money. It just wasn't something that I was going to really continue with just because it wasn't ideal. So it wasn't technically a failure, but I wasn't making the money I wanted. But here there were some offshoots, some after ideas that I got, and those were the ones that actually succeeded. So it's kind of persistence, creative, looking outside of the box, and then coming back in at it. So the third one is don't try to do it on your own. If you're an accountant, if you're a tax guy, if you're a lawyer, if you're a coach that coaches, lawyers on how to improve their practice, real estate agents, whatever, you've developed a really good expertise, and it's taken you quite a while to get there. So don't be surprised if you're not the best person to lead the way on your online marketing efforts. You really want to be working with someone who's done it before, who's taken the arrows in the back, like the farmer's insurance guy that says, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. You want to understand what the best practices are, what mistakes other people have made, what recommendations you get based on your scenario from someone who's really done it and done it successfully. Not only is that going to improve your chances of success, but it's also going to help you work more efficiently. I mean, if you do it, you basically have to take time away from whatever you're supposed to be doing in order to run this campaign. And chances are it's going to be slow going, it's going to be inefficient, and chances are at the end it's not going to be the best possible solution for your business. So those are the three things. There are no stupid ideas. Number 2, persistence, keep going at it, don't quit. And number 3, this is probably the most important one, is outsource it. Get expert advice. And at the same point, maybe you give us a call. I'd be more than happy to talk with you. Our phone calls are free. There's no obligation. But those are the kind of things that I would recommend if you're going to start online marketing for your business. I'll follow this up with another one to give you some additional ideas, but I think this is a very good start.